The following is a presentation of SportSouth. Dodge presents SportSouth Trackside.
Race fans are filing into the Atlanta Motor Speedway as the curtain falls on the 1994 racing season. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Victory Lane here at Atlanta. The Hooters 500 now a few hours away. A little chilly on this Sunday morning. The heart of Dixie getting a bit of a cold snap here, although the weatherman says somewhere in mid-60s by race time at 12:30 Eastern time this afternoon. Before we go much farther on this program, we want to echo a sentiment that we shared with many of our viewers on our This Week in NASCAR show a week or so ago. Greg Thurman passed away, a young man who many of you didn't know at all. He was behind the camera that brought you the pictures on our Thursday evening show and again here on these trackside programs. He lost a battle to cancer at the age of 31. And all of us here on the This Week in NASCAR and trackside programs again want to express condolences to his wife Kathy and the entire family. Greg Thurman was a very special young man, and certainly he'll be missed by all of us here on this broadcasting crew. This crew, of course, also consists of Jim Phillips. He's in the garage area tracking down the early morning stories on race day here, and he's caught up with Buddy Parrott, the crew chief, the outgoing crew chief for Rusty Wallace's team. Let's go to the garage right now and join Jim and Buddy. Gentlemen, it's all yours.
We're here in the garage area with Buddy Parrott. As we reported a couple of weeks ago at Rockingham, Buddy will be leaving the Rusty Wallace Penske South Racing team, and he'll be joining Steve Grissom next year. And Buddy, sounds like a good opportunity for you.
Well, it really is. I'll tell you, I've been working this business a long time. Matter of fact, somebody reminded me that I'm celebrating 25 years this year. So it's an opportunity for me to have ownership, part ownership in a team, and work toward that goal for 5 or 6 years and wind up with something, at the end of that I can say, well, when we get ready to retire or whoever, if I want to slow down the process or whatever, then I'll have something to kind of fall back on.
Over the years, you've been known to bring teams together. This one was the same way. 18 wins in 2 years.
Well, it's been a real good ride. I'll tell you, Rusty Wallace is a great race car driver. The organization's great. Roger Penske's been 100% behind this whole deal, and Don Miller's done a great job, as far as the management part of it. And, the pieces were there, just had to kind of gel the guys a little bit, The pit crew came around, and we started, we made a... We were probably the best on pit road, and hopefully today we'll continue to be that way.
Let's talk about today's race. I saw you yesterday afternoon out looking at tires on the pit lane with a lot of other folks. Is there a lot of concern about that today?
Well, of course, Goodyear and pretty soft tire here, but they got a good race tire. It's fast, but they're looking at about 40 laps, and that's all. The right rear tires are down the cord, so. I think NASCAR will call a mandatory caution around 35 laps, and then it'll be up to us when we want to pit and when we want to stop. So, I told the guys last night, y'all better get a good night's rest because today's going to be a tough day.
Did you have a lot of change in the chassis from the spring race to this race?
Well, not really. I think maybe you had to tighten the car up a little more. Goodyear's come with a little more looser, makes it turn better. So, we've been working on that ever since I've been here, to get the car good and tight. And that's going to be a key, too, that you can't be spinning that right rear tire today.
Well, Buddy Parrott's made a lot of people winners. Richard Petty, Derek Cope, Rusty Wallace, and we're sure he'll make Steve Grissom a winner.
That is going to be quite a combination come next year. But a gentleman who is joining us here in Victory Lane right now has had quite a combination going here this weekend. Greg Sachs is our pole sitter for the Hooters 500. Congratulations, Greg.
Thank you, Eli.
That was a heck of a run.
Wow, and it is a combination, just like you said. I'll tell you that awesome Jasper Power has got that US Air Force Thunderbird absolutely flying. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more.
Now, Buddy Parrott, we just heard say 40 laps and the right rear tire is down to the cords. And if he's getting 40 laps, it's about 15 laps more than some of the other guys claim they're getting before their tires are down to the cords. How about your car?
Well, I believe that's a lot of the Goodyear cars are having that tire wear problem. These Hoosier tires were awesome in qualifying. I tested them about 2 weeks ago. We made some 30-lap runs. They look terrific. Yesterday morning, I made a 20-lap run. The tires look fabulous, so we're real optimistic about today.
Today's pole sitter, Greg Sachs. He'll join us for another chat here as we continue from Victory Lane at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So stick around. We're live on Sports South, and more of Trackside coming up right after this.
This NASCAR program on Sports South is being brought to you by your local Dodge dealers. The new Dodge.
The Wood Brothers crew getting their pit all set for today's Hooters 500 as we are with you live at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on Sports South Trackside. I'm Eli Gold. Welcome back to Victory Lane. Greg Sachs, today's Busch pole sitter, is with us. We've got Harry Gant joining us here in just a short while. Greg, let's talk about your qualifying run first off. It was lightning quick. I mean, we're talking now of speeds of 195 going through the corners. And as we take a look at your run, tell us what went on. How close to going away from you was this race car?
Well, I'll tell you, the run was absolutely awesome. I couldn't ask for a more perfect car. Tony Furr did such a great job with the aerodynamic balance of this Ford Thunderbird. In practice, I had gone almost wide open all the way around. Through turn 1 and 2, I was real close to wide open. 3 and 4 the same. Going out for qualifying run, I told myself that I was going to make it wide open around this track, unless the car told me something different. I made it through 1 wide open and never checked up. It was the first time I believe that anybody's probably run this track on the mat all the way.
185 plus is the pole speed for Greg Sachs here today to lead the 43 car field to the stripe. When we talk about tires, as we did earlier, how about the ambient temperature of the day? I mean, this feels like the potato fields of Mattituck more so than the heart of Dixie. How long before the tire temperatures get up to where you're comfortable?
Actually, yesterday we went out and scuffed about 5 or 6 sets of tires, and I was able to hammer down first lap right off, so I don't think we're going to have any problem. And yesterday's temperatures were just as cool as today. As a matter of fact, it might warm up a little warmer today, I think, than yesterday. So we look for the tire wear to be about neutral, about like it was yesterday. We don't look for any surprises.
You've had an interesting career. I almost said strange career. That wouldn't be the right term, but interesting. I mean, here's a guy who's won at Daytona. Then you've struggled. You've run well. You've qualified well, and you've run poorly and qualified poorly. I mean, you've experienced every emotion this sport has to throw at you.
Well, we've had it all the ups and all the downs, and we're really on a positive roll right now. We won that pole in Daytona, back in 1990. But down there, it's pretty easy. Just put it on the mat, and the equipment takes over. Whatever you've got under the hood, whatever your aerodynamic drag factor is, that determines who's on the pole down there. Here, we had to go out and earn it. Our test sessions went great. My confidence level couldn't be any better. We're on a high roll right now.
Another thing that your team has worked on this year is pit stops, too. It's very honest to see that early in the year, you guys are just getting killed on pit road.
Well, right here in Atlanta.
Exactly. A classic case. You're running in the top 5 or 6
yes.
most of the day. Pit stops have really come along for car 77.
Yes, I reminded the guys about that stop we had in the spring yesterday evening. And we're going to talk about it again this morning. We had a left front tire come off on pit road and probably cost us a shot at that win. We lost a lap and finished 6th in the race. But at Rockingham a couple of weeks ago in the World Pit Crew competition, without penalties, our team was 10th fastest. Now, the penalty that we had was not for a loose lug nut or anything like that. That was flawless. We didn't get all the fuel in the car. So I don't look at that as a major problem today. The guys had a great stop, and I'm confident our USAR team can get the job done today.
The Hoosiers obviously dominated here in March. Great run for Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek, and the whole crew. How much, with this new racetrack now being newly paved, could you save from March? Did you have to throw the old black book away, or being as smooth as glass, have you had to go to a similar setup, a new setup, what?
We've gone to totally new setups on all the resurfaced tracks.
Have you?
With the extra grip and the extra speed, it's calling for totally different spring combinations, totally different shock combinations, and we're really changing the entire car.
How about the physical wear on yourself now? I mean, the G-forces, I'm guessing, have got to be more severe, although the turns are sweeping. Do you feel it? Do you think after 328 laps, you guys will be a bit more worn out than normal?
The G's are incredible. We're pulling well over 2 G's here. When we were testing, we've got our computers in the car, and 2.24, 2.5, that's a lot of G's to pull for 3.5 hours. But I'm in great shape, as most all our Winston Cup drivers are. It won't be a problem.
And so is the guy who joins us here in a moment. Harry Gant is up next. Greg Sachs, good luck today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Eli.
You're in the Busch class. We look forward to seeing you at Speed Weeks in 1995. Right now, as we leave you, we'll take a look at the top 20 qualifiers for today's Hooters 500. Then Harry Gant joins us here in Victory Lane. We're coming right back.
Thanks, Eli.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, buddy.
Good to see you. They are making the final pit preparations on pit road, the Skoal Bandit pit. They're the Pennzoil Pontiac crew for Michael Waltrip, getting all of their pit equipment ready as we welcome you back to SportSouth Trackside, live in Victory Lane here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we are joined now by a gentleman who has been so much in the news this season as Harry Gant retires following actually next weekend's All-Pro Series event, the Slim Jim All-Pro race in Myrtle Beach. But from a Winston Cup standpoint, today is it for Harry Gant. Good to see you this morning. What are your emotions like right now?
Well, it's been, you know, we've been a real busy year. Been real busy here at Atlanta, and you know, it kind of got mixed emotions. You know, it's going to be the last Winston Cup race you're going to run, and but I don't know. I think it's going to take it to about February to really dawn on me where I feel good or bad about it.
Yeah, what's going to happen when you don't climb into the car at Speed Weeks? Do you think the withdrawal system, the withdrawal symptoms will be terrible?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to be down there, you know, with some consultant work with Robert Presley and the Skoal team, and I'm just going to be up on, what I'll probably do is come to the track like at 10 when they go at 7 in practice. I'm going to be up there. I'll clock the car, you know, on top of the truck and tell him how fast he's going.
When those of you who watch the race later today on ESPN turn the TV on, you're going to see something that we're going to show you a sneak preview of right now. Harry Gant's car for today is painted up just like the original Skoal Bandit was in 1981, a little throwback, and I'll tell you, that car looks awfully good.
Yeah, I think the color looks better now than it did, then it did now. I think they all stick with this color maybe.
That was an idea that came out of the fabrication shop at the Skoal Bandit team, and they said, heck, if the National Football League can use their throwback uniforms here in 1994, why can't we do the same thing to honor Harry Gant? And that's, of course, the difference was that wasn't a Chevrolet back in 81.
No, it was a Pontiac. We started with Pontiac in 81, you know, and it all started here at Atlanta, you know, me joining Hal Needham, Burt Reynolds, Travis Carter team, and Skoal, their sponsor, back in 1981 here at Atlanta.
I'm sure you've had time to think back on all that's gone on over these years, but the names you just mentioned, from Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds and Travis and Johnny Hayes, there are a lot of folks who've come through that 33 car over the years.
They sure have. You know, I've been with a great bunch of people over the years, with Burt and Hal, and with Andy Petrie and Leo Jackson, Charlie. You know, it's I've had some good people really working over the years, helping me and put me where we're at today.
No chance that you're going to come back and run the Clash next year, huh?
No, if I was going to run the Clash, I'd run the 500. I think I'd rather run the 500 than run the Clash. You know, it's got a little more time to do something, but no, I'll be, you know, enjoying it like everybody else watching it.
What are the thoughts about today here? Does the car have a chance to get to Victory Lane?
Well, you know, here at Atlanta, you never know. You know, we've run real good at Atlanta, and we're running pretty good now. The track, of course, it's got new asphalt, and everybody's kind of a guessing game. You know, if you hit a right setup and car works good, car's running good. It's just main thing if we guessed right for our setup for this new racetrack, and of course everybody's in the same boat there, but yeah, it can come to you, and you can have a fast car, you know, and we're hoping that'll happen. Boy, nothing I could hope better than to come out here. If I can just lead this race today and be up front all day, I'll be tickled to death.
You do that, they'll tear the grandstands down. Folks will be jumping up and down. What about the man who takes over the Skoal Bandit next year? Are you leaving the car in good hands with Robert Presley?
Yeah, I think so. You know, they are in the process of building some new Monte Carlos. They've got one done, they've tested, and you know, they've done some work in the engine shop, and they going to be some changes made in personnel and all. But I think they're going to really, you know, do real good this year, because, you know, one of the tire guys that had changed his right front tire, Billy Abernathy, he's been with me since 1965, you know, so, you know, he's leaving along with me, but, you know, they're all pumped up, and they're really ready for a new year, and I think it's going to be great for them.
You ever think when you were running those bull rings weekend after weekend that you'd ever get the notoriety that you have? Did you really foresee that coming?
I really didn't, you know, and some of the things that's happened this last year, the response from the fans, you know, I'm out doing more appearances than I've ever done, especially at the racetracks, and getting to talk to every one of them one-on-one. And I never thought that anybody would really care that much about a stock car driver and all this. It really gets to you when you're out there among those people and being able to meet at 2,000 or 3,000 every Saturday evening. You know, it's something that a little more than I expected.
Pretty big for a guy from Taylorsville, North Carolina.
Sure is, yeah.
Harry Gant is with us. We're going to come back and continue our conversation with him for another few moments. We've also got Jim Phillips standing by in the garage area for yet another update. But right now, as we leave you for a moment, let's continue our look at the qualifying order for today. 21 through 43 coming your way right now. Those are the qualifying spots. Then more from Atlanta right after this. The jacks made by Charlie Brunhosel. Those are pretty standard now among all the racing teams across the pit lane. And that is the Skoal pit as everything gets set for car number 1. In that instance, Rick Mast and the Skoal Classic automobile. Your old buddy there, Rick, has had a pretty fair year. Always miss him by just that little bit, though.
Well, you know, you got to get to that level before you can ever win, and they've been there this year. Really been competitive, qualifies good, runs real good in the race, and I think it's maybe today, you know, could be their day. If not, it's going to happen soon in the next season. And, you know, we've been pulling for Rick. Got to know Rick real well over the years since he's been with Skoal now. And they've just come a long way, you know, with the team.
If you're just joining us, we are with Harry Gant here in Victory Lane at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, Harry hangs it up as far as his Winston Cup career after this afternoon's Hooters 500. But as we said when you first joined us, we'll be seeing you in action next weekend at Myrtle Beach. That is technically the final race of your career in the Slim Jim All-Pro Series. Whose car are you going to be in?
I'm going to be in Mike Chase's car at All-Pro. It's the one I ran over at Nashville today, sponsored by Mannheim Auctions. And, you know, I started my career in the short track racing, so it looks like I'm going to be able to end it up there, too, next week. So end up the Winston Cup career here today and short track next week at Myrtle Beach.
What happens when you finally do have free time? Are you going to go out and start building houses? You're going to work with your brother? You're going to get on your motorcycle and disappear for weeks? What's the schedule?
Well, you know, I've got a lot of things to do. You know, we raise cattle now, and I got my steakhouse and numerous other smaller things. You know, basically, I'm going to be working probably 12 hours a day, but I really anticipate on being off on Sundays and maybe Saturdays. Also, I'll be working for a lot of years here now with Skoal as consultant work, which we'll be consulting the race team some and maybe doing some of their people that we go to the convenience store, the conventions and things.
Right.
And, you know, in a roundabout way, I'm going to be really working at least 1 day a week, you know, for Skoal. So that narrows my 5-day work day down to 4. And we have a lot of appearances scheduled. You know, everything I'm doing, I'm scheduling between Friday and Saturday noon. So all I'm gaining from this retirement is a day off on Sunday. That's all I'm gaining, it looks like.
Harry, as we let you go, are you an emotional man? You said it's probably not going to sink in till next February. But do you have any idea what the emotions will be like when you fire the engine for the first time today, or when you finally shut it down in the garage and the day is done?
Well, yeah, you know, I've thought about it now, you know, for a couple of years, you know, when I made an announcement a year ago. So I've kind of built myself up to it, but I know it's going to be pretty emotional, and hopefully we'll be able to finish the race today and we can make the one parade lap for the fans, you know. And I think that's when you're going to really know exactly what you're going to miss once you switch that car off behind the hauler.
Well, Harry, all the best to you. We'll be seeing you around the racetrack.
Sure will.
We appreciate all the treats you've given us over the years. It's some great racing out there.
Well, thank you, Eli. I've enjoyed being on your shows and enjoyed you over the years, and really have enjoyed all the fans and everything. And I'm just like to say farewell to all of them. And we will be back around the racetrack soon, seeing our old friends.
Harry Gant, the Skoal Bandit, retiring here after today's Hooters 500. You know, here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, there is an ongoing expansion program. They have added new scoring stands. In the distance, you see the Tara Place condominiums that have been built here. They are always adding more and more grandstand seats. And we talked about that and the expansion and changing face of the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We discussed that yesterday with the track president, Bruton Smith.
We would hope that they expect a lot of things, because we're not there yet. We're certainly under construction here all the time. I guess our next big goal here is 74,000 more seats. And so we'll be working toward that. And of course, there's some things that are in the mill now for more roads. And of course, we, along with so many other speedways, have a major traffic problem. And of course, we're meeting with the elected officials, and as soon as we can resolve some of that, then we will commence construction, and it'll be a major improvement here. And we'd like to then change the track here and move the start-finish line to where we are right now, right behind me here on what we call the backstretch. That will be the home stretch. So that's one of the more.
Thoughts of Bruton Smith, the president of the Atlanta Motor Speedway, a facility that really has been upgraded so greatly over the years, and those Tara Place condominiums we showed you, the tallest edifice, the tallest building of any kind, from the Macon area all the way to the Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport. This area of Hampton, Georgia, really growing up under the leadership of Bruton Smith. As we break away right now, let's take a look at the broadcast schedule for today's Hooters 500. Then we're back with a final update from the garage area with Jim Phillips. All of that coming your way as Sports South Trackside continues from Atlanta, Georgia, right after this.
This NASCAR program on Sports South is being brought to you by your local Dodge dealers. The new Dodge.
Back at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, Jim Phillips joins us now. And Jim, after Jeff Bodine lost an engine on Friday, I see another engine change going on right now in the garage.
But there was nothing happened to the latest engine, Eli. It's an engine thing that the driver comes into place, and I just like the engine we had in better than the one that you had in last for the final practice. So they're just going back to the engine they had in before.
And tire wear, is that the story of the day?
It is the story of the day, and I talked to a Goodyear engineer just moments ago, and he said it's all going to be chassis setup. He said some of these guys are smooth around this racetrack, some are not. The ones that are smooth can run up to 55 laps. He said the ones that are not smooth, about 30 laps. It's going to play into who wins this race today.
That is Jim Phillips. I'm Eli Gold. We thank today's pole sitter Greg Sachs and Harry Gant, both of whom joined us on today's final edition of Sports South Trackside. We look forward to seeing you again in 1995. Until then, have a great winter season and enjoy today's Hooters 500 for all of us here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So long, everybody.
Sports South Trackside provided accommodations by the Atlanta Airport Hilton and Towers. The Atlanta Airport Hilton is a shining example of Southern hospitality with contemporary flair. Adjacent to the world's busiest airport, the hotel is just 8 miles from Atlanta's central business district. The plush accommodations and amenities assure all the elegance and comfort of a metropolitan 4-star hotel. So whether you're coming to Atlanta for the fun of a race weekend or for business, plan to stay at the Atlanta Airport Hilton and Towers.